Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of ENTLynx Movies Podcast, where we talk about movies, sometimes television, occasionally video games, and anything else we find interesting. My name is English Dave. I'm here with my co-host Shane. What's up, Shane?
Hey, how's it going? Second podcast, heating up.
Shane did a podcast with me last week. He's got the podcast fever, so he decided to return.
Hell yeah.
How was your week, Shane?
It was good.
Yeah, anything interesting other than hanging with me?
Can't remember. Tarzan? We watched Tarzan.
Yeah, we saw Tarzan.
Wasn't bad.
We'll talk about it as we go into our first segment, which is the weekend box office. Number one this weekend, Dory took it again with $50 million, putting its maximum to $380 million. That's really good for Dory, for a sequel even.
It's really good.
Yes, and it will soon, I think in the next week or so, it will soon overtake Toy Story 3 as Pixar's highest grossing domestic film.
More than Toy Story 3?
Yeah, Toy Story 3 domestic run was $415 million, and Dory is currently at $380.
That is weird, because I would think Toy Story is a more beloved franchise than, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, whatever.
Well, we'll see what Toy Story 4 does. Maybe as each film comes out, they will topple the previous film.
That is true. We always break records anyways.
But it's still behind Disney's highest grossing film of all time, which is The Lion King. Can you believe that Lion King still holds the record? $422 million. So it could still beat that. It's still time, because this is its overall run.
But didn't Lion King come out again on like 3D or something, and then...
I have no idea if this includes re-releases.
Yeah, that's what I'm
maybe. But I mean, currently Dory again is at 380 and Lion King's 322. So I don't think it would be too hard for it to beat that. And it's not too far behind Shrek 2, which is the highest grossing animated film period of all time, which is $441 million.
Okay.
So it could beat both. We'll see. I mean, unless it has a huge drop off, because it's only been out 3-4 weeks now. Mm-hmm. So, and these records are for the entire run. So I have faith in Dory. We'll see how that one goes. Second place went to Legend of Tarzan. It was expected to do way less, and it came in at $38 million. Mm-hmm. Still not that great, because its budget was $180 million.
That's only for the weekend, right?
Yes.
It's only a couple of days, so...
I know, but then if it has legs, right? Because usually your weekend, unless you're like this beloved movie, your weekend is your biggest talent.
Yeah, that is true. Because as soon as the reviews start coming out and people get...
Yeah, you only go down from there.
Yeah.
And opening at 38 at a budget of 180.
180 is a good amount for...
It'd have to do well overseas. I wonder how well it'd do overseas to kind of make up that budget. We saw Tarzan. Spoiler-free review is up on our YouTube page, youtube.com/ENTLynx. Check it out. Let me know if it convinces you to watch or not watch the film. But Shane, what do you think about the film, without spoiling it?
I thought it wasn't bad at all. I mean, you already touched on the story, and I was surprised there was a different take on Tarzan than the Disney one, because I didn't want, the regular kind of Jane Tarzan love story, growing with the gorillas. I didn't want that again. Yeah. And they delivered something different. I mean, it's not something special, but it's better than the regular.
Another movie that came out this past week, The Purge Election Year. We talked about the Purge series last week. Mm-hmm. Had you said you'd seen it?
No, I did not see it.
It was Ari who seen it.
Ari saw it.
But she couldn't be on the podcast this week. I don't think she saw this one either. But this movie also outperformed expectations. It came in at $30 million. Considering that it was made for $10 million.
It's 10?
Yeah.
You're
the
kidding
budget was $10
me.
million.
How?
I have no idea. They didn't pay anybody, apparently. I don't know if this is the final one, though. I'm not so sure.
Well, you would think trilogy and it's like the third one, but given if this one outperforms, I mean, if the budget is $10 million and they're able to triple the revenue, you can be sure there's going to be more of them.
True. And in fourth place, this flopped. But it's fourth place, but it's a flop. The BFG, Big Friendly Giant, Steven Spielberg, Disney. This is one of their first films they've done together. This movie was $140 million production, opening weekend of $19 million. I wanted to like it to the point where I actually even read the book. Mm-hmm. I lie. I listened to the audiobook.
Yeah,
a couple of days before the movie. And I enjoyed it, but I feel like I don't know if it works as a film. I feel like either Spielberg was told to hold back or he held back himself. It just didn't feel like a Spielberg movie. It felt, the only reason I knew it was Spielberg is because I saw it in the credits. It didn't have that feel of epicness like we spoke before. Spielberg does this kind of movies that, especially his kids movies, they have the epic feel to it, and I felt the BFG didn't have epicness.
Okay.
In a year where we also got Jungle Book, another movie that has a child protagonist surrounded by CGI characters. Jungle Book did a way better job.
Okay.
You know, and I don't want to compare, but the comparisons are easy to make. You know, and especially with someone like Spielberg.
Yeah.
You expect more from him. You know, anyone else may be able to let it go, and even then, I just felt even little things like the CGI felt disconnected. You know, for a movie called The Big Friendly Giant, I didn't care about the giant. Yeah, and I think that's part of the issue. And I don't know if this will have legs. I think this movie is going to be seen as a flop. If it didn't do well this opening weekend, and with other movies coming out, I don't even know if people knew this was coming out.
It wasn't real advertised.
No,
I mean, recently it was advertised. I would say a couple of days before it actually came out that I
Yeah.
started seeing ads for it. But before that, not really.
No, because especially when you think this is the guy that did from the same guy who wrote Matilda and James and the Giant Peach and Charlie and Chocolate Factory, and when those movies came out, they were really marketed and pushed. You knew they were coming out.
Yeah.
You know, this one, considering it's Roald Dahl book with Steven Spielberg and Disney, I felt like it slipped under the radar. Next, we're going to go into our other piece of news. This is casting news. Did you like Tyrese in Transformers movies? Well, he shall be back in the next Transformers movie titled Transformers: The Last Knight. And that's knight as in, you know, a knight in shiny armor, not day and night.
Always try to get... Transformers always manages to get my attention and then just lets me down every single time.
So how's he got your attention now, and how's he let you down?
Literally just the title, The Last Night.
The Last Night.
Just because it sounds really... I don't know, maybe it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope Optimus isn't the last night. But continue the news. Josh Duhamel last week actually confirmed that he'd be back as Lieutenant Colonel Lennox, and which is what led to Tyrese being coming back. Because as soon as Josh Duhamel tweeted it, Tyrese was like, "Hey, wait a minute, I want to be in it too."
Oh,
you know?
like it's their decision.
Yeah, I mean, in the film itself, if you don't know or don't remember, they were really good friends in the franchise. But yeah, it makes sense for Tyrese and Josh Duhamel to be in the movie. Do you know what I really liked? I think it was the second or third film. I forget what it was, but I really liked the idea which they set up at the very beginning of the film, but don't do anything with it, where we see the Transformers Autobots and the army military working together, like training together.
Yeah, I think that was the third. No.
I think it was the third.
No, the second.
The second one, yeah,
the
yeah.
second
The
one.
opening
Because the
of the
second one, after the first one, the military kind of accepts them.
Yeah.
And then during the second, they start with, remember that Linkin Park song, and then they both kind of break in this Chinese warehouse. Or something.
Yeah.
And then I forgot. Yeah.
And then you even see some of the training inside the training facility of like the military people jumping on their backs, assisting each other. The kind of unison between like soldier and Autobot. You know, I think that's a really cool idea to have like really run with, and they didn't do that. And I'd like to see elements of that in the next film. I mean, a Transformers film is going to be a Transformers film.
Yeah, because every time they have problems with the military, they basically just take a U-turn every single time. There's something that the government doesn't trust them, but they keep saving the world movie after movie.
Yeah, it's like,
so I mean,
let's see them trust them for once.
Exactly.
You know?
At
least the military. You know, like I'd love that. See this idea that and I think some of the animated shows touched on it, where every major military human character has their own personal Autobot that they work with, you know, that you kind of in sync with and you train with, to the point where you become this one like hive mind, so to speak. I'm indifferent about Transformers. I'll watch them. I don't get excited as I used to, but I'll watch it.
Well, same. I kind of have a little bit of hope that it can be like a decent movie.
Yes.
I'm not expecting like a crazy 90% Rotten Tomatoes Transformers movie, but at least
something fun.
Decent, yeah, fun with a good plot, good characters, but hey.
But I'm just worried that like things like we heard an announcement that Megatron is coming back again. He keeps dying in every film, then he's back in the next one. Like, I feel
was
like
he in the last movie? No, I don't think so.
Was
he was in the third one. I think he died in the third one.
No, he was.
He was in the last movie.
I think he was, and then he got killed by what's his name, the guy with the big laser eye.
Oh, yeah, the big villain.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah, I forget. Another piece of casting news. If you're a fan of Kingsman and a fan of Vinnie Jones, well, guess what? They're teaming together because Vinnie Jones is going to be in the next Kingsman. It makes more sense when you realize that Vinnie Jones and director Matthew Vaughn are actually very good friends. Matthew Vaughn gave Vinnie Jones his acting debut in his film Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
I love that movie. Great movie. And he was also in Matthew Vaughn's Snatch, so they're really good friends. So it makes sense that he's in it. We don't know what role he's playing. He might be a villain, or he might be some renegade Kingsman itself. But we do know that the title will be Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Somehow Colin Firth is coming back, but he died in the first film. Spoiler alert, sorry. But he dies, so I don't know how they're going to make it make sense that he's back. Also, Mark Strong will be back as well. As well.
His flashbacks? Man, you can't really do flashbacks. He was in this tablish.
I mean, the world of Kingsman is like a almost fantastical world.
Yeah.
So you could make up some stuff. I don't know how, but you could make up something. Also, the newcomers, Vinnie Jones will be joining other newcomers, Channing Tatum, Jeff Bridges, and Halle Berry. Yes, and Elton John will be making a little cameo in there too. I really like the idea that the American Kingsmen, they'll be also known as the Statesmen. That's the name of the American branch of the Kingsmen. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Halle Berry will be their boss.
Okay.
Yes, we don't know much news in terms of what the story will be, but at this point, I trust Matthew Vaughn with anything. Matthew Vaughn's rarely done a movie that I didn't like. In fact, the only time I got pissed off with Matthew Vaughn in the movie was the fact that he didn't return for X-Men First Class sequels. Because he did X-Men First Class, but he didn't do Apocalypse and the one before that.
Yeah, Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
I mean, Days of Future Past was actually really good, but Apocalypse was...
Yes, and I think Matthew Vaughn's a better suited director for X-Men than Bryan Singer. I think Bryan Singer loves the franchise too much. Sometimes he gets too fanboy. And I think sometimes that's what adds to his mistakes, because he, rather than crafting its own story, he tries to play too much homage to some of the comics.
Yes, the X-Men and the comics.
X-Men, the comics.
But I also see here is Pedro Pascal is going to be in it. Pedro Pascal he's in Narcos and in Game of Thrones. He plays Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones. Probably one of the most beloved Game of Thrones character. But
is he a good guy in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, he's a good guy. And, well, basically everybody knows what happens, but we're not going to go into that.
So, did you like the Kingsman movie? The first
one?
one?
I loved it, especially that church scene. Oh my god,
so
one
great.
of the most memorable scenes ever.
I think Kingsman is also based on a comic book, and it was kind of written as an homage to James Bond. And in its homage to James Bond, it's kind of better in my view in terms of modern day James Bond.
Yeah,
it's almost like what what's it called? Do you see Galaxy Quest?
No, I never saw that.
Galaxy Quest is fantastic, because the reason I say Galaxy Quest in the sense of Galaxy Quest was made as an homage parody to Star Trek and ended up being one of the best Star Trek movies ever made, because it's in its own right. Even if you didn't know what it was parodying, it's just a great movie. You should watch it. It's really good. And that's how I feel like Kingsman is to James Bond. It's a great parody, an homage to James Bond, but in its own right, it actually outdoes modern James Bond films. And it proves to me, a lot of people get worried about James Bond. I think a lot of the reasons why James Bond changed was the producers felt that James Bond couldn't work in this day and age without feeling corny. And I think Kingsman proved that you can still keep elements of James Bond, make it fun, and not make it corny. Or make what would seem corny work to your advantage. I think that's what Kingsman did a good job of. Next piece of casting news. Were you a fan of Pacific Rim?
Yes, I love that movie.
You just love giant robots punching at each other.
I just want Godzilla to just show up in the movie and they have it battle.
That'd actually be dope.
Yeah.
I think that could happen. I'm not sure the rights, but Legendary Pictures, one of the producers on this, and Legendary Pictures worked on Godzilla as well.
Yeah.
So it technically could happen. But the piece of news that we want to talk about is John Boyega from Star Wars fame, not Star Trek, Star Wars fame, and a movie called Attack the Block, which you should watch, Shane. I talked about it last time.
I will.
He's been cast in Pacific Rim as one of the leads. He shall be playing Idris Elba's son.
Yep, who died in the movie, obviously. Yes. So
I think that's a great casting.
I don't think they ever mentioned his son in the first film.
No,
but I mean, it doesn't matter. I think that that is a great casting.
And they're both Brits, both African Nigerian Brits.
That is true. That is true.
So it works. And also, we've just found out that Clint Eastwood's son. Did you know Clint Eastwood's son's an actor?
Yes.
Scott Eastwood. He actually had a cameo role, a very, very brief role in Batman v Superman, but I forget. I think you see it more in the edited cut. No, that's the wrong movie. Oh. He was in something else. No. Batman v Superman, that was Zack Snyder's son. He was in there. Scott Eastwood was in something recently.
He had a movie that came out earlier this year.
I feel like he was in something recent, very, very recently.
Oh,
he's in Suicide Squad. I knew that he had some connection to the DC universe. That's why I said Batman v Superman. Yes, he has a role in Suicide Squad. I'm not sure what role it is, but yes, he'll also be in Pacific Rim 2, and we don't know what role he'll be playing. Either they're keeping something away from us, or they just haven't announced it yet. What's really interesting is that there's actually no mention of the leads from the previous film, which is interesting. Which was Rinko Kikuchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rinko Kikuchi, Charlie Hunnam, and Charlie Day, or anyone else in the first movie, actually haven't been announced. So some people are speculating that this could be somewhat of a soft reboot of the franchise.
I like that. I mean, I don't want to see them again. Their characters, they're not.
Their story was done.
Yeah, they're not so engaging that I want to. I mean, they can have probably like a brief cameo, but I think the robot in the first one and their story should be wrapped up, and we basically see the world kind of going back to building giant robots, and we see a different division.
Yeah. Different part of the world, or like you said, different division. I mean, the first one introduced many types of Jaegers, and every country had their own different reasons, and there were different locations for in terms of their bases. And one of the reasons for this is the movie didn't do so well in the States, but it did fantastic in China. There's rumors saying that we might see more Chinese actors and Chinese characters in this as well, which kind of made me wonder why Rinko Kikuchi. I'm not sure what ethnicity.
Is she Japanese?
I'm not sure where she's from.
I think she is Japanese.
I think she might be Japanese, but
yeah, because they did have a Japanese division of the Jaegers, the one with the three. Was it three arms?
The three arms, yes. Yeah. That was cool.
So they probably will do a Chinese division this time.
Actually, speaking of, I think that's one of the weaknesses of the first film, that we didn't see enough of the others.
Yeah.
You know, it was almost like little snippets.
Guy.
Yeah, but I'm interested in this. I mean, again, like I said, for me, Pacific Rim is more about the giant robots than the actual actors.
Yeah,
so,
definitely, 100%.
This one won't be directed by Guillermo del Toro. He'll be producing. This will be directed by Stephen S. DeKnight, who actually was a showrunner for Daredevil Season 1. Which I thought was fantastic, so couldn't be any bad.
Yeah.
This is scheduled to come out February 23rd, 2018. And another piece of news, this is greenlit. I call this segment greenlit, where we talk about things that just got greenlit. Makes sense. Wreck-It Ralph 2, it's happening. I'm happy.
I'm happy too. First one was great.
First one was fantastic. I think the first one was one of those movies, almost kind of like Zootopia, in the sense that it was... Well, Zootopia has an advantage because Zootopia is actually making money. But Wreck-It Ralph 2 was like Zootopia in the sense that it was under the radar. You know, a movie that came out that was really good, that people aren't talking about it as much as they should be.
Yeah.
You know, I think Wreck-It Ralph also had the disadvantage of coming around the same time as Frozen. So Frozen got all the attention at that time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think Wreck-It Ralph was great, and I'm so happy for a sequel. The director, Rich Moore, will be returning, and I like the story. The story finds Ralph on the internet as he moves away from the arcades and into virtual space.
Huh.
So
that's interesting.
That's an interesting kind of storyline.
I mean, I hope they have more gaming characters this time, because last time the gaming characters were only in this little meeting thing we were having, and it wasn't a big part of the story. I mean, it would be cool having, I don't know, Mario just hang around once in a while.
I mean, I think we will see more, because the first film was more of like they were testing the waters, see how people find it. And yes, it didn't do financially amazing, but it was so well critically received. I think the second one will do well. And I think it did really well on Blu-ray, DVD. So I think other companies won't be as wary to have their characters added to it. Okay. I also heard that we might see cameos from Tron as well.
Oh.
Which I'm surprised the first one didn't really have. You know, you feel the first one had it. But I would like seeing Ralph kind of join the internet. This could be interesting, especially because these aren't just arcade characters; they're almost like 80s arcade characters. You know?
Yeah. These are older arcade characters, but I'm just thinking, going to the internet, there's just so much possibilities they can explore.
So many possibilities. John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman will be returning, and this movie is scheduled to hit March 9th, 2018. So there's still a while to go. Final piece of news: did you ever watch the old series Lost in Space? They made a movie of it. There was a movie with Matt LeBlanc. After they did Friends, he tried to be cool. I never watched the original series because I think it was like in the 70s or 60s.
Yeah.
But I watched the movie and it was fun for what it was. I mean, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. The show actually centers around the Robertson family, who are forced to come together at a time of crisis. Stranded light years from their intended destination, they find themselves battling a strange new alien environment and also their own personal demons. Equal parts family drama and sci-fi adventure, it is a survival story for the ages. Yes, I remember this. They were trying to get somewhere, I forget, on a space journey, almost like Fantastic Four. Like a family of explorers, but they get lost. hence the title Lost in Space. And each episode is meeting new aliens and new characters.
Oh, okay.
And I think the movie, I want to say, had Gary Oldman in it. I can't remember.
Okay.
I keep mixing back Gary Oldman's visual in. I keep seeing him in Fifth Element.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's Lost in Space. I don't know why. But Netflix Netflix has gotten the rights to this, and they're developing a series, which all 10 episodes will air 2018. We don't have exact date. We just know 2018. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. Netflix are kind of I can't speak today. What is wrong with me? Like, I'm just so tongue-tied. Netflix are on a roll right now, and at this point,
Definitely.
a lot of the stuff I'll give benefit of the doubt. I'll check out at least 3 episodes before I decide if I want to keep watching it or not.
I mean, the amount of sci-fi series that are coming out is growing a lot, especially with Expanse, The 100.
Yes.
There's a bunch also. There's another one you mentioned. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if after Game of Thrones, HBO picks up a sci-fi show.
Oh, no, they have.
They do? Which one?
I was just reading about it today. It's called Westworld. J.J. Abrams, Jonathan Nolan, Chris Nolan's brother.
Yeah.
It's also based on an old movie. Okay. It's a world where using virtual reality and robots, you can kind of join. You go to a theme park, and so they have Westworld, they have Sci-Fi World, they have whatever world. Westworld means like Western, and this is set. And this movie is set in that time, and the TV series is set in that time, and part of it is living amongst robots and how that affects the society and virtual reality and all that kind of stuff. It looks interesting. I'll show you the trailer afterwards.
Okay.
Again, J.J. Abrams and Jonathan Nolan, and it's HBO, so
you know it's good.
And now it's trailer time. A couple of trailers this week. I'll run through them very quickly. DreamWorks released the trailer for Trolls. Do you remember the Troll dolls?
Yes, I do. Probably still have some around.
My wife is a huge fan of the Trolls. She even dressed up as one for Halloween one year. She's a huge fan. This stars Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake, who are polar opposite troll characters who embark on an adventure that takes them far beyond the only world they've ever known. The trailer looks fun.
It looks alright, but it doesn't look like anything special.
No, nothing special. I feel like it'd be fun for kids.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're a parent, I feel like this is a movie kids will enjoy. You know, or if you just like animated stuff, I feel like it's either a movie that you won't hate or you will love. I don't think it'll be one of those. You know, it's like I don't hate it or I loved it. I don't think it'll be a bad film. Yeah. To be honest.
I mean, Justin Timberlake is lead. Yeah.
He sounds different. It doesn't sound like him.
He does. I actually did not know it was him until they put his name up.
Especially he's playing a character who's kind of like always like mopey.
Yeah.
He doesn't, you know, it's
just not. It's just really
weird.
Like, you know, he's always that
excitable character.
Happy, yeah.
Next trailer we saw was Sully. This is based on the miracle of the Hudson when Captain Sully Sullenberger glided his disabled plane into the frigid waters of the Hudson River, saving the lives of all 155 aboard. However, this is where the movie interests me. Even as Sully was being heralded by the public and the media for his unprecedented feat of aviation skills, an investigation was unfolding that threatened to destroy his reputation and his career. Basically, this movie focuses on the aftermath, the fact that he got all this attention, you know, and sometimes negative because people started questioning, you know, did he do the right thing?
Yeah.
You know, maybe he didn't have to land it. Maybe it wasn't as faulty as he made it out to be.
Yeah.
What do you think of this movie?
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks really good, especially Clint Eastwood, Tom Hanks. I don't think you can go wrong.
Aaron Eckhart, I like his little mustache.
Yeah.
Thing going on with this.
He looks really different.
This is interesting. It's one of those movies that I'm interested in the idea. I'm not sure because this event happened in 2009. It wasn't that long ago, and because it's so fresh in our minds, and we pretty much know the outcome of it. I'm curious as to how dramatic the stakes are going to feel while watching it. That's my only issue. It's not a case of I feel the movie's going to be bad on him. I feel like timing of it because it's so fresh. When these movies come out so recent after the event that happened, I'm always questioning that how will I really feel like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? When my brain's like, oh, I know what happens next. You know?
I mean, for me, it's different because I was in the United States at that point.
Okay.
So I wasn't really aware of what happened. America in the Hudson doesn't mean anything to me.
So
for me, it's much a fresh take. But I know, I mean, Clint Eastwood, the way his movies are, he takes something really simple, like basically simple as in landing the plane underwater, but it explores a much deeper side of it.
Yeah.
So, they talk about the investigation and stuff. Same as, what was that movie, Invictus?
Yes.
It's all about a rugby game, but it's so much more than the rugby game,
Yeah. Did you see Flight, the Denzel movie?
I did not actually see that, but I heard a lot of good things.
And I wonder how it compares to that, because it deals with similar things, right?
Yeah, right.
In terms of the captain of the plane and having to deal with the aftermath of it as well. So I'm curious, and I think that was also based on a true story. So I'm curious as to how they compare. But again, I'm also interested in that movie. That comes out this year, September 9th. So we'll find out how all that does. Next movie, Bleed for This. This features one of my favorite up-and-coming actors, Miles Teller.
Yep,
I like
everywhere.
him a lot. I like him a lot. For me, I mentioned to you before, he's like the white Michael B. Jordan, or Michael B. Jordan's the black Miles Teller. They're like the same person to me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they can do the same movies, and they both are actors who have great charisma and charm, but however do better in their dramatic roles than their comedic roles.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, when I saw Whiplash, he definitely did a good job, but I would think he was an actor that would only be stuck with a specific kind of characters. But after watching War Dogs,
yes, we watched War Dogs.
Yeah,
that doesn't come out till August. We watched it a few weeks ago. We can't really talk about it. We can say we enjoyed it.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a good movie. After watching War Dogs and seeing the trailer for this, then I totally believe him that he can tackle a lot of different kind of roles.
Yeah, and I think we've only seen the beginning of his career. I think we're going to see a lot from Miles Teller. But Bleed for This, this is also based on a true story. The synopsis goes as follows: with help from trainer Kevin Rooney, champion boxer Vinny Pazienza, I can't pronounce this name, Vinny Pazienza, tries to make a comeback after breaking his neck in a car accident. Aaron Eckhart's in this as well. He's doing quite a lot too. He looks different. I think in Sully, he's got the mustache, and this has kind of got like a fake receding headline, which looks weird on him. But I really like the look of this. It looks intense.
It does look intense, and I hope they. I mean, who's directing?
I'm not sure who's directing. I don't think it's a big name, or anyone that people would readily recognize. But the scene where he's getting out of the car and then he hits his head, you really feel that you really feel for him. Like it's interesting how it's played out, because you basically in the trailer you see him, he's a boxer, he's on his way to start going somewhere, where when he's in a car accident and he has to wear a neck brace, and he gets a choice: either fix his neck now but it'll be fused in a way that he can never box, or risk it healing itself, but any little kind of hit will make him paralyzed for life. Yeah. What choice would you make in that situation? But it's really interesting.
What you want to do, or just
it's like, how much do you want it? How much do you really want what you want? And I think it's one of those movies, and I'm interested in it. I like the title, Bleed for This. It's very telling of the film itself.
This year, so that's good.
Yes, and that comes out this year, November 4th, 2016. And final trailer. Why him? This is with James Franco and Bryan Cranston. This looks hilarious.
I don't know what to think of this. It feels over-exaggerated, but it's probably going to be actually good.
I mean, it feels like the recent kind of string of movies from Franco and Rogen. Like your Neighbors movies, your This Is the End, Pineapple Express. There's overdone movies that could go horribly wrong, but end up being actually more fun than you realize. And I feel because of that, I give Franco a benefit of the doubt.
Me too.
And I like Cranston.
And Cranston probably wouldn't sign up on some random stuff. He probably read it and thought it was a good idea.
He's an actor with lots of range too.
Yeah.
Like if you see him in Malcolm in the Middle, he's hilarious. And in fact, for many people, that was the first kind of introduction to Bryan Cranston, and then you see him in Breaking Bad, and it's like, whoa, completely different person. This movie, Why Him? It's a comedy based on an overprotective dad. He forms a bitter rivalry with his daughter's young rich boyfriend, and I kind of like the idea behind this. Like we said, this comes out Christmas, December 25th, 2016. I really like the last. Yeah, this could be a great winter comedy. A lot of comedies come out in winter this past few years. Last year we had
The Night Before,
which James Franco had a cameo in. Hilarious cameo.
Yeah, he did at the end. That was actually hilarious.
And it's one of those cameos that you're like, well, duh. Because they say it throughout the whole film. It's like, oh, my boyfriend James. But
you don't actually think it's James Franco.
You don't think it's James Franco, but then it's like, well, duh. He's always with those guys in the movies. So why would
it makes sense?
It makes sense. And that's it for our trailers this week. For more trailers, check out our website, ENTLynx.com, or listen to a podcast next week where we discuss the trailers that we watched this week. And now we're going to go into our main topic of the week. Because this weekend we had the release of the BFG and Tarzan. Many people don't know this, but did you know that they're both based on books? I'm sure you knew, Shane, but many people...
I knew the BFG. Tarzan actually did not know it was based on a book.
But it's funny enough, even if you did, these are characters, at least with Tarzan, that have been so long in our kind of social atmosphere that when you hear the word Tarzan or the BFG, you don't first think book.
Yeah.
You might think Tarzan, the Disney movie, or some other Disney.
Exactly.
But you don't go to book. You don't ask somebody, have you read Tarzan?
Exactly. Oh, what a great book.
Great book. Well, actually, if any of you have read the first or any of the Tarzan books, let me know. Send us an email, entertainlinks@gmail.com, or send us a tweet at entertainlinks, and let us know if you've read any Tarzan books. I just want to know. It's interesting to find out if anyone's read any book like that. But topic of the week is going to be movies you didn't know were based on books. Because there are many movies that obviously based on books, like you've got your Lord of the Rings series, you've got anything based on Tom Clancy.
Or the Harry Potter.
Or the Harry Potter movies, like...
Clancy.
We all know that they're books.
So much, I mean...
So much so to the point where whenever those movies come out, the book sales go up.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about those movies that people had no idea were based on books, to the point where nothing happens to the book sales whenever the movies come out. And first movie I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite movies, actually, Die Hard. I didn't know this was a book myself.
I had no idea either.
Yes, the book is called Nothing Lasts Forever, written by Roderick Thorpe. Never even heard of that guy at all. And it's interesting that that's a book. I wonder how many books there are, or if it was just one book.
I feel like it's only one, and then they just took the franchise to the next level.
This book was actually based on a movie called The Towering Inferno, which we actually mentioned briefly in our last week's podcast, talking about disaster movies. Yeah. Because it's a disaster movie. So while watching this movie, the author thought of the idea. You're thinking, okay, what if instead of a towering inferno, it was a police officer chasing characters inside a skyscraper? And it was called Nothing Lasts Forever. The main character wasn't John McClane. The character was called Joe Leland. Okay. Joe Leland doesn't sound as tough as John McClane.
Definitely not. Did a good thing to change that.
But both stories are set Christmas Eve in Los Angeles. But there's a difference in that Die Hard, the character's a lot younger. John McClane's a lot younger, and the endings are different. While Die Hard has a happier ending, the book Nothing Lasts Forever kind of ends in a cliffhanger because you're not quite sure if the character's dead or not. His life's kind of hanging in the balance. Okay. That's interesting. That was a book. I just can't imagine it. I don't know. It's just an action movie.
Yeah, basically, you can't really imagine reading this. Just reading.
Another book. I'm going to jump ahead. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Great movie. Absolutely had no idea it was a book.
No idea it was a book.
Just because they have all those characters like Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, and everything.
But I think that's the difference. The book was actually called Who Censored Roger Rabbit. It was written by Gary K. Wolfe in 1981. It's actually very different. In the book was actually a lot harder and a lot tougher and hardcore than the actual movie itself. Wow. And it was about the death of Roger Rabbit, as opposed to Roger Rabbit, who framed him. They were investigating his death, and like I said, it was a lot harsher. I think there's cursing and all that kind of stuff in the book. The book, Disney version was made to be more family friendly.
Yeah, definitely.
Though that has its dark moments. Oh, it definitely I haven't watched it in a while, but it does. And even the scenes with Jessica Rabbit, they're very sexual for a kids movie.
They are. I remember watching this as a kid. It was so awesome.
Yeah, but I heard they're doing another Roger Rabbit movie. Well, they've been talk of it because I think there's a book series. Okay. It wasn't just one book. I know how the original movie was showing the differences between like animated characters and live action characters. I think what the next movie was going to do was show the difference between hand drawn characters and computer animated characters, and have that be a different kind of
different take on it.
That would show the dynamic, awesome. Like how things changed when computer animated characters took over and took all their jobs from the animated characters. Which I think would be an interesting kind of take on the story. But I don't know what's happening with that. That's probably a while before that happens. There's been talk about it for a while. Mrs. Doubtfire, one of my favorite Robin Williams movies, was also based on a book. The book was titled Alias Madame Doubtfire, which is very interesting. It was written by a British author called Anne Fine, and it was a YA novel, young adult novel. They're very similar. They both feature obviously the father dressing up as a woman after a messy divorce, and being their nanny. I don't know how different they are, but I know that they go very close in their plots. Obviously, I feel like the movies obviously has more comedy, just because of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of his scenes are really ad-libbed. So I don't know how the book itself plays out, if it plays out more serious than the movie itself. But if you've read that, let us know. Another movie, I won't go through details of all of these. Pitch Perfect was a book, which is crazy.
This is really surprising.
Pitch Perfect was a book. The Town, one of my favorite films with Ben Affleck, because he actually directed it. That was based off a book called The Prince of Thieves. It just almost sounds like a Robin Hood movie.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know the plot of The Town, so then watch it. Which I will soon.
You should. You should. It's a great movie. You've also got. Have you watched The Thing? What? The Thing's one of my favorite horror movies, man. Like, it's
way
great.
Too old.
God, just because it's old. The Thing is before my time. I still watched
rarely
it.
go back and watch things that came out before me.
There's some classics that you have to watch. The Thing is fantastic. What I like about The Thing is that I'm a huge fan of horror as a genre.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think in the modern age, in the last 10, 15 years, it's become a joke as a genre.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really get any serious directors working in it. And the only time you have a serious director working in horror is because they're a first-time young guy who are trying to use it as a stepping stone to something else. You know, you had someone like James Wan recently who's done the Conjuring movies, and but he's moving on to like Aquaman and working. Aquaman, the DC universe. You know, horror has become kind of like no one really takes it seriously. It's only scary in theaters. You never really watch horror movies that's scary at home, or everyone's kind of playing with the same things. You know, jump scares and
they're basically just trying to scare the audience, and they don't care that much about
actual
the tension and like what a good horror movie is.
Like, what was the last horror movie you watched where you cared about the characters? Like,
well, The Witch, but it wasn't really a horror movie.
Okay.
It wasn't scary. It wasn't meant to scare you. It was meant to be tense,
like psychological,
stressful. Yeah, psychological, and it made me actually care about the character. And The Witch does a really great job. I'm not going to spoil it. The title itself plays around it because it's not about an external witch. It's not about this witch that attacks the family. It's it starts inside the family.
Yeah.
So this takes a whole new direction during the movie, and at that point I really cared about the character.
Oh, that's interesting. I've heard good things about The Witch. I haven't seen it myself.
It's a good movie.
But The Thing is one of those movies, again, it's all about building tension, but in a good way, because you really get to know the characters first. And because part of the story is that this alien can take over anyone's body, shapeshift, so you're not quite sure who's with you and who's not, who's against you. Anyone in the room could be the bad guy, and because it kind of plays with that, the tension's constantly there, and I loved it about that. But yeah, this is based on a book called Who Goes There, which is really, really interesting title, because if you see the film, it makes sense. And this is published in 1938.
Wow.
Which is interesting. The sequel to The Thing wasn't that great. It was okay. Wasn't that great. This one is going to surprise a lot of people. Shrek was a book published in 1990.
Who the hell writes about Shrek?
I guess it was a kid's book. I don't know. But yeah, that was in 1990. And Steven Spielberg is the one who acquired the rights in 91.
Okay.
But the movie didn't come out till almost 10 years later. But he didn't direct it. I'm not sure who directed it. But DreamWorks, he's one of the co-owners of DreamWorks. That's why he acquired the rights. Another movie that a lot of people might not realize, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's also a book. This was published in 1938. It's actually the fourth book of the Chinese series called Crane Iron series.
Because they did do a sequel to it, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if it was based on the books. I have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, this was Crouching Tiger was the fourth in the series of books.
Alright.
Yeah, so they kind of just jumped in the middle of it.
Hmm.
Can you think of anything else? I think that's the end of my list. I can't think of it. There's probably a whole bunch of other movies.
I think of movies based on book that are coming out soon.
Oh, coming out. Okay.
I mean, Inferno's coming out this December. Not December.
Which movie?
Inferno. Dan Brown.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. I really like his books and the movies too.
Is Tom Hanks as well?
Yeah, Tom Hanks and what's this girl's name? She's gonna be in Rogue One. The actress.
Oh, The main one.
Yeah, she's in there too.
I forget her name. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then, what was announced too? Dark Tower?
Oh yes, the Dark Tower.
When is
that's
this
a
coming?
series.
Next year? Oh, it's a show?
Yeah, I think. Oh, it might be both or something. I know Idris is in it.
Yeah, Idris and Matthew McConaughey
yeah,
is in
both
it too.
in it.
So that's interesting. You have a good cast also.
Yeah, I forgot about the Dark Tower. And I think Stephen King's It. They're redoing it. The Clown. They're actually filming right now.
Okay.
A remake of It. That was one of the scary movies when I was a kid.
Really?
That clown scared the heck out of me. But that's it, really. You guys can think of any other movies, or not many known movies that are based on books. No, how do I phrase that? Famous movies that it's not known that were based on books. There you go. Let us know. Actually, that's a good one. Blade Runner. Many people don't know Blade Runner is based off a book. It's one of my favorite books, actually. One book I have read is called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's a great book.
I heard about this book. Yeah.
It's a really, really great book. The title itself kind of tells you, it deals with what is it to be human. If androids dream like we do, how different are they from being human? You have anything else to let people know about? Any books, movie books that you found interesting? Oh, Jurassic Park. Yes, that is a book. Michael Crichton or Crichton? I can never pronounce his name. I'm terrible with names.
But yeah, Jurassic Park based on a book.
That was a book as well. That was a great book. I actually read that book before the movie, funny enough.
Before the movie?
Before the movie, I read that book. Funny enough. There's differences in the book, obviously. There's some differences that they touched upon in other subsequent movies.
Do you feel like the grandeur that the movie made you feel?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the movie did a way better job just because it did a great job with the visuals.
Yeah.
And Spielberg was able to add something different to it. But the book is darker. It's not like Spielberg was able to kind of keep the darkness of the book, but make it also kind of relatable to kids. Whereas the book is just very dark.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really a kid's book. Are you watching anything, Shane? Watching, reading, or listening to anything you want to recommend to people? I'm watching a great show called 12 Monkeys.
Oh, I watched the movie. Really good movie.
Yeah, I love the movie.
Yeah.
A great movie.
Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt has great...
Brad Pitt and... what's his name?
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, yes. The TV series is based off of the movie, but it does a lot of different things. Just because it's a series, but a lot of good things. And Brad Pitt's character is actually played by a woman who does a great job as well. And but the series is great. It starts off really. It doesn't build up with it doesn't have a slow build into it. Like it really hits the floor running, and the pacing is great. It never feels boring. A lot of sci-fi TV shows it takes a while to get into it. They build up to the crazy stuff that's happening, whereas this just opens with this woman finding out about time travel, just like holy shit.
Yeah.
Type situation. And it's really well done. I'm currently, I think, 6 episodes in.
Okay.
Season 3 just got greenlit. That's what made me start watching it. Really.
2 seasons already out.
2 seasons already up.
Right.
I like it a lot. You should check it out. Are you watching or reading anything or listening to anything?
Well, this week we watched Batman vs Superman.
Oh yes, let's talk about that.
So it did not change my perspective towards the movie. It probably made it worse.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
That's the first time I heard that. But actually, you're the only person I personally know that has rewatched the movie that isn't a hardcore DC fan. Because I have a lot of friends who are hardcore DC fans.
So they rewatched it.
So they rewatched it and they're like, oh no, it's actually better.
Yeah.
It's actually better. I'm like, really? Is it though? Is it though?
It's, well, when you see your movie the first time, you don't really understand the whole plot right away. I mean, you do, but there's little things that you don't realize. I mean, why is Lois Lane doing this? Why is she getting the bullet? Why is she trying to prove this? It doesn't click in your head when you're watching Batman vs Superman because you're just concentrating to this big spectacle that is the movie. But rewatching it, everything just clicks into you. And you're like, whoa, why is this happening again? Why is Batman killing so many people right now? Why are people dying? So all those questions kind of pop in your head the second time, and it definitely makes it worse for me.
Oh yeah, and yeah, a lot of people felt like added because the original movie is I think 2.5 hours long, and the extended cut takes it to almost 3.
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
And people thought that would make it better, and I felt it just adds more to the crap. If that makes any sense, because it wasn't a film that I felt needed more to be better.
Yeah,
it was long enough as it was. I felt like the movie could be cut, and I think from what I've been hearing, again, I haven't watched the extended cut, but what I've been hearing is that the extended cut fleshes out things that you still didn't care about. You know, so yeah, the original cut. It makes it seem as if Lois is trying to prove that Superman didn't shoot all these people, but then the extended cut, and this is a bit of a spoiler, so don't listen to this part if you don't want to be spoiled. The extended cut, I heard that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we actually see the bodies burnt. So it isn't a case of, oh, he just shot them, the bodies are burnt to a crisp. So that's how they say Superman killed them. But then it's still kind of, for me, it's like, okay, but I don't care about that plot point.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not even relevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant at all. You know, like the whole plot point of proving that Superman didn't kill these people in an African village. Like, who cares about that plot point? Like, why is that? I don't want to see more of that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, yes, like a friend of mine argued with me, was saying, oh, but now it makes more. You understand why people thought it was Superman because the bodies were burnt. I'm like, yeah, but Lois's proof is still a bullet.
Yeah.
You know, like,
if the bodies are burnt, then why is the bullet being approved?
Yeah, why is the bullet the thing? You know, why is that? Yeah, and overall, again, I don't care about that plot point.
Yeah.
You know, so you're extending things that nobody cares about. And
they didn't focus as much on how the world reacts towards Superman. More that they're just blaming him for killing people.
Which makes me pissed off about how the movie ends with like that kind of ceremony for Superman.
Exactly.
Like,
you've been angry about Superman the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the only scene for me that really took my breath away was when the building explodes and Superman's just in there like, oh crap, like this just happened and couldn't do anything about it. That for me was a great idea, but the execution was not as good as they could have been. Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's like we have the Superman supposed to be a hero now, but we never saw him as the hero, which I mentioned my problem last week with the synopsis for Justice League. You know, where it's like, oh, Batman felt that he let Superman down. Like, but no. Nobody cared about Superman. You don't care.
You owed nothing to Superman.
Yeah, nothing at all.
Yeah.
So why is he the basis and the reason why the group's created?
Yeah, if anything, Superman owes you for, sparing his freaking life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that, I don't know. That. But do you recommend people watch it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're a fan of DC and you love Batman vs Superman, you should definitely watch it. I don't think it's a movie that you should pass on.
Yeah.
I think it's got some really good elements. Definitely, you have to get over the plot holes and a couple.
Do you think this should have been a theatrical cut, or do you agree with the one that was released in theaters?
I mean, I agree with the one that was released in theaters. Yeah. I thought that was. What's it called? You don't have to see the extended, It's not going to make you see the movie in a whole different light. Okay, it'll explain a couple of things a little bit better. But those things they explained should not have even been there in the first place. Yeah. So,
true.
Normal cut is totally fine.
Are you watching anything else? Listen to anything else?
Right now, I've actually been busy. I mean, Avatar. That's one thing.
Did you start that?
Oh, yeah. I'm like 15, 16 episodes in.
What do you think? It's about the last Airbender Avatar, not James Cameron.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely a show that you should start watching as a kid.
Yeah.
Watching it now as an adult, you definitely take it different. Yeah. You have a different take on it, but it's definitely entertaining. Yeah. I like the whole concepts, like the whole bending and the movement of the characters, and the animation is actually really good and it sticks up.
Have you met Tough yet?
Huh?
Have you met a character called Tough?
No.
Oh, no. Wait till you see Tough. I wouldn't even say anything, but Tough is the best character.
No idea.
Like, my favorite character in the whole series. It's funny you mentioned about the kitty elements of Avatar. And that's exactly how I felt until I kept watching. Because it's one of those shows where the characters themselves age over the seasons.
Yeah.
So they don't stay the same age. And the themes, like the final episode of the last series, is so dark. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it deals with whether Aang should kill the villain or not.
Yeah.
Because the whole series is like, okay, leading up to training to defeat the villain. Then when he gets up to it, it's like, okay, what does defeat the villain mean?
Yeah. Do I kill him? Is that
what the hell am I murdering now? And in hindsight, in retrospect, looking back at the series, I think it was done on purpose, having the first few episodes seem more kiddie, because in the story itself, Aang runs away as a kid, and when he comes back, he's still running away from his duty.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to jump right into it.
No, he doesn't want to do it. You know, that's why he ran away in the first place. He's a kid. He doesn't want to do the grown-up stuff. So the series starts with him doing all the fun stuff, focusing like he goes penguin sledding, all that kind of stuff. Every time someone mentions, let's go here, he's like, no, let's do this first. You know, and then that's something that's also touched on by the other characters that always like, hey, why are you always bringing this other stuff and distracting us every time we try to bring up the serious conversations? And I think that's kind of, as the viewer, you're taking on Aang's journey. So the story itself matures as he matures and accepts his kind of his fate and what he has to do as the Avatar. And so I'm going to be asking you every week how kind of it's progressing for you. You know,
because I'm trying to watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes a day. I usually watch it when I eat because it's 20 minutes and it's so convenient.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I watched any show and it's 20 minutes an episode.
Yeah,
so
I need a new animation to watch. I just finished Voltron. That was really good.
Yeah,
I like that a lot, and it's from the same people that worked on Aang and Korra, and you can tell.
Voltron.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I started. We watched half of the first episode. Actually,
I like that a lot. I like a lot of animated shows. I just have nothing to watch right now.
The Killing Joke is coming out soon.
Oh yes, I'm watching that next Monday. I think I'm watching that in theaters. I got tickets.
All right.
Yeah, I'll give a review of the theatrical version, and I wonder if it's going to be any different to a DVD. Probably be the same thing because the DVD comes out like next day, right?
Yeah, there's no reason for it to be different.
Yeah, true. What game are you playing right now?
Game. I am playing Rocket League actually.
Oh yeah, I love that game.
I went back to it. So I started it, I stopped, and then I kind of went back to it. I'm still terrible at it.
Oh yeah, I'm so bad.
I'm so terrible, but it's still a really fun game.
Yeah.
Anybody can just pick up and have fun with it.
So this weekend we have The Secret Life of Pets. This looks interesting. I'm not sure. It's good either way.
You know, the first teaser for this was actually really, really good.
Yeah, it was really
hilarious. Funny and simple, and the concept just blew everyone away.
Yeah,
I think also it's based in New York, right?
Yes, it is. I think so too. Kevin Hart's character looks funny in this. He plays a rabbit, a crazed rabbit.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, it's interesting. And you've also got this weekend, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Yeah, that is probably going to be terrible.
Yeah, this is Zac Efron and Anna Kendrick, Aubrey Plaza, and what's the other guy from
Workaholics? I forgot his name.
Adam Devine. Yeah, Adam Devine. I like him in Workaholics, but yeah, this is one of those films that seems like it's going to be like just come and go. No one's going to really talk about it. I'm not sure. I really think the weekend box office will stay largely the same.
Yeah.
Secret Life of Pets might get in there. We've got quite a few animated movies because you've got now Dory. You got, BFG's kind of animated movie. Kids movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's still kids.
And you've got Secret Life of Pets. But that's it, guys. For more, check out our website, ENTLynx.com, or check out our YouTube page for movie-related videos, reviews, and the like. YouTube.com/ENTLynx. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Shane, for being here. No problem. I think at this point, Shane's going to be a regular. But thank you guys for listening. My name's English Dave. See ya.